Girl, look at that body. Girl, look at that body. I work out. Whatever. Never actually heard this song. The only times I heard this song is from Instagram Reels and stuff, so don't judge me too hard. Alright, Master Chief. My name is Marvin Faisal. I'm on a freaking fully funded scholarship studying over here in Istanbul. I have been a student all my life. And I'm going to continue to be a student for the next 4 years of my life as well, alright? But ever since I started from like first grade, I scored second position, and then after that, I've just scored first position in every single class. Alhamdulillah, up until this point to where I've gotten the scholarship. And I've never seen one of those study advice or study guides YouTube videos because frankly I've never needed them, alhamdulillah. And so even though it sounds like I'm glazing myself, I'm actually not. In fact, I've written in my notes, just glaze yourself, okay? For the introduction of the YouTube video, just glaze yourself. But I'm not trying to do that. I'm just stating my credentials so you're not to click off the video. And so, but during my A-levels was when I changed my study strategy a little bit, and I was just reading a book called Deep Work by Cal Newport, and some of the principles in that book opened my eye to the way I had been studying earlier. And this is literally the only study advice that I'm going to give for you, and I think this is there are multiple study advices that you can go into, but I think this is the most powerful one. The study advice is that the quality of your study sessions do not actually depend on the time you put into them, but rather the intensity of the focus that you have while you're studying. Whoa, damn, bro, did I just say that? Did I just say that? That was a freaking smooth sentence, bro. I might have to look that back up, But what I just said was that the quality of your study sessions does not actually depend that much on the time you put in, but rather on the intensity of your focus that you have while you're studying. So that just means that, for example, if you're going to study, you might decide to study like 1 or 2 hours, but and you might go like, oh, 3 hours of studying is better than 1 hour of studying, or you might just say like 4 hours of studying is better than 3, 5 hours of studying is better than 4, and you might just be adding hours and minutes into your study sessions, which is not the most the awesomest way to go about it, but rather, I think the better way to look at it is to fix your intensity of focus during your study sessions. And I read this book by Deep Work, I mentioned the book already, Deep Work, and the formula given in the book was that, let me read the exact word for word, high quality work produced. High quality work produced, I'm going to put it on the screen as well, use my epic editing skills, bro. Zero editing. The formula goes, high quality work produced is equal to time spent multiplied by intensity of focus. So you can either produce high quality work by increasing the time you put in, which I think is not a very good way to, look at your work, because that's that's one way. And the other one is to just increase your intensity of focus. And I saw another YouTube video which was titled "Work Like a Lion, Not a Mule." I know it sounds like Alpha Sigma type shit, but basically a mule, a donkey, works for like hours. So that's not how you want to work, all right? You don't want to work on something for like hours and hours and just keep trying adding more hours to improve the quality of your work. You want to be working like a lion, okay, bro? Okay, I know this sounds corny and stuff. Lion mentality. Sigma male grind set. My bad, bro. But you want to be improving the quality of your study sessions. Yeah, you want to be improving the quality. Your study sessions by improving your focus, the intensity of your focus. And because the lion example is really good in here, because he's just sleeping all day, and he's just planning his, most of the time he's just sleeping, he's resting, he's making sure he has that mental energy, and then he gets up and then he walks around the jungle, he makes some noise. Okay, bro, don't do that. Don't be walking around your home before your study sessions half naked and stuff. I used to do that, my bad. But like, you get the idea, right? It's like he puts in, whoa, why am I so white, bro? He puts in work once and then he just hunts for like a week or something. Oh, I don't know if that's correct, but like, you get the idea, right? Improve your intensity during your study sessions instead of getting in this race of time. And throughout my life, I've studied from first grade to O levels. I've studied like with intensity, all right? From first grade to O levels, I had like so many hobbies. I used to read books. I used to do yo-yos. I used to know advanced yo-yoing and stuff. Advanced yo-yoing. Have you ever heard of advanced yo-yoing? I bought an expensive yo-yo, and then I used to do advanced tricks on that, bro. That was pretty freaking cool, man. And I learned how to solve the Rubik's Cube. The Rubik's Cube. I put in years of practice into that thing, bro. And I could solve it under like consistently in like 15, 17 seconds, bro. I was pretty good. And so, and I used to draw as well. I had a drawing hobby as well. I usually I actually had a separate Instagram for my drawing page, where I would draw, and I would post images of what I drew. And that was pretty freaking awesome as well. But as soon as I got to my A levels, what drove me to basically, I just started to focus more on the time that I spent studying. And what drove me to studying, focusing more on my time was basically the narrative that I got from my parents, especially, and from my classmates as well. That like, oh shit, it's freaking A levels, bro. You know, it's so freaking important. You know, we gotta lock in. We gotta put our efforts into this, man. You know, this is so hard, man. It's this that, bro. It's not actually that. If you just keep hearing more of that, you're just gonna try to put in more time, which I don't think is the best strategy because you can always be putting in more time. But are you sure you want to be like you don't want to like enjoy 1 hour of like whatever you would want to enjoy? I'm not talking about like okay, so 1 hour of whatever you want to enjoy. You want to sacrifice that just for like studying more for 1 hour when you've been studying for like 4 hours and you're just like, oh, I just keep adding more and more and more time to this. Instead, try to put in like goals. Okay, the way you can implement this. All right, right, my bad, my bad. But that's how I actually did in A levels. And during my A levels was like I was getting my grades actually went down during my AS level. The first year of my A levels, I was partly through that. You know, I was kind of on this intensity shit as well, but I was focused, getting focused on time as well. I got good grades during my A levels, but during my A2 was when my grades actually went down. You know, I should have gotten A stars, but I actually got A's. You know, okay, this might sound like cocky and stuff, but my bad, bro. And it's just not fun anymore. It's just not fun, you know. Even if you get good grades by spending more and more time, it's just not fun because you know you're putting in too much time, you know. And so I think the better way to go about it is actually to put in, actually lock in on your intensity. All right. And so the way I've seen a lot of you collect entrepreneurs on YouTubers do this is that they say they work on something until their intensity starts to go down. So you might actually get to work, you know, and you might decide like, okay, I'm going to do this work, you know. You might work, and as soon as you feel that your intensity is going down, you're getting tired or you're getting like your focus is getting distracted. That's when you stop the work. You only work when your intensity. My bad. I just had breakfast, but when your intensity is at like 100%, and that's I think that's a pretty lion way to go about it. Okay, I know I may keep making these animal references, but it's actually pretty useful if you think about it. And so that's how I should have done it during my A levels. And even though I got this fully funded scholarship because of those grades, I know it might sound like hypocritical, but my grades actually went a bit down. You know, I could feel it. You know, and so, but the way I think I should have focused more on intensity. You know, if I had focused more on intensity, even if you say like, okay, you can get the same grades. You know, if you put in more time and if you put in less time, but with greater intensity, you can get the same grades. Actually, you can come together. But having more time is just so much more awesome, bro. And training your intensity. You know, why wouldn't you want to be able to work with more focus? You know, more focus is gonna help you in every other area of life. And even if you have more time, you know, to do other stuff, you can put it into like going out with your friends. You can, bro. I'm not gonna tell you what you can put your time into, bro. There are freaking series out there, bro. Game of Thrones. Just watch Game of Thrones. I've never actually watched a series in my life because my parents actually refused to get me a Netflix subscription until I was like in university, and now I'm in university and I can get it with my own money because I get a fully funded scholarship, but I don't want to put in enough time, you know, to watch series and stuff. I got other shit to do, man. Hit chest days, grow this chest, man. My bad. Yeah, and so yeah, and the way you can do this, the way that I used to do this, I remember I was from grade one to O levels. My friends used to ask me like, "Oh, how many hours do you study in a day?" Because you know I was getting good grades and stuff. Okay, I do not mean to glaze myself again and again, but I'm just stating this as facts, bro. You know, you get good grades and stuff. And so, how many hours a day do you study? And I would always just look at them and I'll be like, "What do you mean? How many hours a day do I study?" I just go back home and I decide I want to study, and I just study until the point that I want to. Boom. All right. I didn't even have goals. Like I wouldn't even go home and be like, okay, I'm gonna finish this chapter today, and no matter what, I'm gonna finish it today. You know, I didn't even have that. I would just go back home, you know, and just study until I felt comfortable. And I know it sounds weird, but it is what actually worked for me until my my phone's battery died mid video, and I had to go down and grab my power bank. And so I apologize for the heck. I don't apologize for anything. Screw you. I, but there's gonna be a certain change in my energy and stuff for which you should be. Yeah, you must be feeling right now. Where was I? I'm gonna just pretend that there was nothing. You know, there was no cut in this video. But yeah, basically that's what worked until my O levels for me. And so I I'm actually pretty excited to to apply this intensity stuff to my A levels, to my university as well. Because I got 4 years of university coming up, and so I'm pretty excited to apply all of this that I've learned to at my actual university. Right now, I'm learning Turkish. At least I was until the past week I got my C1 Turkish level certificate. By the way, if you want to know more about my fully funded scholarship, you know, the one that I'm on, I actually have another YouTube channel, the link to which is in my what's at the bottom of the YouTube video description. The link is in the description. It's not actually in the description, my bad. It's actually in my, when you go to the channel and you click like about or more, there's actually a link to my other YouTube channel. You can actually go and learn more about the scholarship, how to apply, you know, what are the benefits and stuff. Because I'm reaping the benefits. My bad. And so, yeah, do not just take my word for this. Try it out for yourself, and do not let me know how it goes, because I don't check. I don't even. What? Okay, man. Bye bye. Yeah, that's the end.